Hey, Paige, how you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing well. This is Movie and a Haunt. Hi.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. So I have a proposition for you.
Okay.
This is not to do with the movie. I'm just doing this live on air because bad friends don't say no. And you don't want people knowing you're a bad friend, right?
Oh, God. Okay, what is this?
Okay, so sometime in the near future, I need to go somewhere, and I'm like, it's like a two-parter, and I just want to bring you along. So the part one's not the issue. It's the part two is why I'm bringing you live on air because, why would you say no to me?
Oh, my God.
That's wrong.
What am I doing?
So sometime in the future, within the next like few months, it's not like right away. I need to go to IKEA to get some like storage containers.
Yes, I could take you.
Great. So that's not the part that I needed to do live on air. After that, how would you feel about driving an extra like mile and going to Rainforest Cafe?
The food poisoning wouldn't be worth it.
But it's the year of live events for us, and nothing says live events like a thunderstorm with animatronics.
That happens every 2 minutes.
It's actually every 20.
Oh, my God.
Let's get this right.
So technically,
I'm just saying it's a good lunch.
Okay. If I eat fast enough, I only have to hear the thunder once.
And if your waiter doesn't forget about you,
would never
it's a two-parter. But I promise you, by the end of the day, I can promise you it's edible.
I don't believe you.
I can promise you it's edible. I know the last time we went, the burger was questionable, and I've heard the chicken is incredibly dry. However, hear me out. I have heard the bread is not that bad.
I can get bread anywhere. Thank you very much.
But can you get bread with a animatronic lipless tiger next to you?
Hi guys, this is Movie and a Haunt. I don't know what's happening.
No. Yes, we're doing it in the future.
Sure,
We'll do it.
yeah.
Great, fantastic.
Okay.
All right, we're watching a movie. I just had to make sure we got that out of the way first.
Great.
We're watching Troll 2.
Troll 2. What is that? Oh, he just sent me the poster. What the fuck is this? When is this from?
1991.
God damn it. All right.
You know what's my favorite part? Do you want to know why this movie makes me laugh? It's why it was made.
Why?
So you've heard how people crap on Taylor Swift. She's like, she must be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. She writes a new song about every one of her boyfriends. Mm-hmm. People write a book about their trauma. The writer of this movie, she wrote this entire movie because she was angry that her friends became vegan.
Shut up. No way.
That is the truth. Her friends went vegan. She was like, fuck this. I'm writing a feature film about this shit.
How? How do you do that?
I mean, I got some other things, so you can probably piece together really quickly what's going on here. Only one person on the set was able to speak English because everyone was from Italy. That was not an actor.
Okay.
And the actors are just people from town.
This is going to be a wild ride.
Like the dad ran a dentist place just in town. He went there to be an extra, and all of a sudden he gets a main role.
Okay.
And one of the characters is also from a mental facility in town.
Why are we filming in Italy?
And he was on the record. No. They're filming in America.
Then what are all these Italians doing here?
Well, because they didn't want to work with people, I guess, like the people, in America. So they brought people from Italy because they're from Italy.
Oh, okay.
Which means everyone spoke like a broken English except one guy.
I don't know how to feel about this movie. How long is it?
91 minutes. It's like I said, she made a feature film about her friends becoming vegans.
Okay.
And called it Trolls.
2.
Oh, that's the other story. Trolls 2 has nothing to do with Trolls 1.
Okay.
Trolls 2, Troll 1 was about trolls.
Right.
Trolls 2 was originally named Goblin, and then the producers called it Trolls 2 just because they wanted to have another Trolls movie. It has nothing to do with the series.
Great.
This movie, by the way, one of the most infamous things in the world is in this movie. The amount of gifts
Oh, Lord.
you have probably sent of this movie
Truly?
and not have known you were sending it from this movie is pretty impressive, actually.
So being able to play Spot the GIF is actually going to be kind of fun.
It is. But oh yeah, I guess I should just note this because last episode we said we were
I
watching
completely
Pearl.
forgot.
So here's the thing. So it's the summer. When we're recording this, it's April 27th, but close enough. And you know how we do in the summer. In the summer, there's always that one movie we say we're definitely going to watch, and then we delay it for like 5 movies, but each week saying we're going to watch it, but then we don't.
Right.
And then come August, it comes out magically. But also, we want to split them up because since the last time we recorded, Maxine's trailer came out, and you and I are actually kind of interested in Maxine. So, spacing these 3 out, hopefully by the time we get done with Pearl, then wait a couple of episodes, maybe it'll be on streaming, and we can talk about Maxine. Yeah. However, we had to improvise, and this was my improvise.
And this is real time. I have not known that we were going to watch this monstrosity. So, I guess we're going to go on a ride together, everybody. Here we go. Woo.
Oh, I can't wait till we come back.
Here we go. We'll be back.
Hey.
Hi.
So, great movie.
We watched it. It was something I saw.
Best movie of all time.
I wouldn't put it in that category.
Is it any better than Thanksgiving?
Debatable.
Did you have a good time fighting those nasty little vegetarians?
Apparently, yes. They were allegory for vegetarians. This is what...
They were not an allegory because literally the guy in the shop was like, we're vegetarians, bitch. We don't eat bacon. Which, like, you don't need to be a vegetarian to not eat bacon. I'm not a vegetarian. I think bacon tastes like shit.
This is considered one of the best worst movies. I think it's up there, but...
Now, I would also say that Thanksgiving is one of the best worst movies.
Agreed.
How do we
I don't know yet. Let's discuss it a little bit, and then I'll think about it.
So, let's talk about the beginning, but not like the actual beginning because there's only like 2 things of note. We get an introduction to Creepy Goblin, is what I'll call him. He's the only goblin that doesn't have actual eye holes. They're just eyes on the mask.
Pasted on.
And they are bulbous. And every time he came on for the first like 40 minutes, it was a jump scare every time.
It truly was.
And then I think he remained a jump scare to you, but he became adorable to me.
I mean, that kind of tracks, right? You love puppets and such, and he was very puppet-esque.
I do. He was adorable. I love him. He was so cute at the end. And then he was eating, and then he got gross again. But like, I could block that out. I can just remember his cute times. I can remember his cute years.
Okay.
But let's not. Okay, now we talked about that. Let's talk about the true star of the beginning of this movie. His bedroom.
Ah, yes.
And the confusion in which that bedroom caused. Me specifically, yes. the sports fan.
Yes. He had usually kids, or at least people, stick to one sport. Like, oh, sorry, there's a fire truck outside. Great, fantastic. Oh yeah, it's loud. You guys can definitely hear it. I'm sorry. I see it spiking. The sound. Wow, it's like literally right outside. Anyways, usually stick to like one sports team in your area. This kid had literally every baseball team in the league, everywhere. It was very strange.
We had that. What was it? Giants, Mets, Chicago.
Yeah, we literally had everybody. We had the Oakland A's, we had the 49ers. It was all over the place.
And then we have a story, and the story is like this guy was running, and then he was a clumsy little bitch and fell down a hill. and then
It was like
and then he got stitches magically.
it was like a mix between Humpty Dumpty and like a Hansel and Gretel situation.
Sure. Let's go with that. It's just okay. I'm gonna let everyone know this movie does not get good
Ever?
until until false until the foreign exchange program comes to fruition.
That's about like kind of near the end of the first half, kind of, or the first quarter. Sorry.
That's the first 15 minutes.
Is it? This movie felt so long.
When he goes to the store, like when that kid goes to the store. Oh no! Sorry. When they do the chase scene and we get introduced to the witch that's totally not from this movie. That's not halfway. Sorry, that's 30
Are
minutes.
you kidding me?
No, I timed it. It's 30 minutes. It was 34 minutes.
This movie was. We were talking about it while we were watching it. This movie was 3 movies in one.
That's impressive.
It is.
It beats Silent Hill. Silent Hill was 2 movies in one.
But Silent Hill was actually extremely long, like time-wise. This was only an hour and a half.
This just felt like we wrapped up the story, and then we're like, no. See, we're on another story now. Yeah. We're on the next chapter. This is 3 TV specials combined into one thing, and they called it a movie. But basically, right now, it's introduction to character, introduction to the scariest character in this movie, the mom.
With her eyes.
And more specifically, her eyeballs.
I want to...
introduction.
Sorry, I just want to talk about real quick. The script is incredibly awkward. And after you told me that the writers and directors, like, could not speak the same language at the same time, because it was either, like, just basic all Italian and then, like, English for the other half. I could see where the translation had issues in the script. It was extremely awkward when they were talking.
And fun fact, the actors offered to kind of like do the
modern the script,
revamp the script while they were talking, and the directors refused to let them do it.
Oh, well, okay, then go fuck yourself, I guess.
Yep. They wanted their Italian English, and I'm like, but it's like, it was well known that none of you can actually speak actual English.
Yeah, it was extremely awkward. Anyways, go ahead, continue.
They couldn't speak fluent English, is the best way I can put it. Oh. So they are, according to Wiki, vegetarian goblins.
Oh, there's different types of goblins. Okay. So not all goblins are
These guys are the vegetarian.
Got it.
So what they do is they put some green shit in your food and they turn you into like a plant. And then therefore they can eat you.
Yes. It's not cannibalism. It's vegetarianism.
I finally found the one person that makes Taylor Swift seem normal. She's like, yeah, this dude like broke up with me. I'm going to write a song. This woman was like, my friend likes to eat salads. I'm going to make a movie about cannibalism, vegetarians. And how if you eat meat, you go to hell. But you don't actually.
There's a lot of hate to fuel an entire feature film. Like, that's impressive.
I don't think, you know what? I have not liked a few people in my life. I can count on one hand how many people I've not liked in life. I have never hated someone so much where I'm like, I'm going to write a full fucking feature film about your fucking life decisions.
Just your life choices, not about you. Just your life choices.
And more specifically, a single life choice.
Yeah, that's not really affecting me whatsoever.
But like, it's so weird because they were like, okay, let's just, I'll get to the points that stick out in my head. Basically, what are you going to do to me, daddy? I know in the 90s that may have been okay.
Maybe.
That may have been fine.
Maybe.
Possibly. It is 2024. That's a totally different connotation now.
When you throw your son on the bed and then go immediately to adjust your belt and he says, "What are you going to do to me, daddy?" I'm frightened. I saw it's a PG-13 film, but I was extremely frightened for that. I mean,
Here's the thing. In 1990, that would be frightening. If someone said that and would have belt, that would be frightening. Now you're questioning that phrase in a totally different way.
yeah, because I'm like, I mean, obviously I'm like, oh, he's going to like hit him with the belt. That's what I thought. But then I was like, wait a minute. No, he's not. What are we doing?
I don't like it here. Also, I love how the peak hospitality is writing names on a piece of construction paper and taping it to a door.
Yeah.
Hospitality.
Again, the script was extremely awkward.
But either way, this town. You know what? I'm going to give this movie credit. I remember the population of this town.
26.
It's 26 people. Because I was like, hey, that's very specific. But B, mom comes down. She's like, our son is talking to the our dead grandpa again. We took him to the therapist. The therapist said, stop being a little bitch boy. Forget about it. Move on with life.
It clearly didn't work.
That's totally this. By the way, it's the wife that wrote the movie, by the way. This woman has a lot of hate for different things. Vegetarians, disgusting. Therapy for the weak and the crazies. Stonehenge for the vegetarians.
Like, what the fuck?
My favorite line is, my ancestors came from Stonehenge. I'm like, wow, good for you. I've never met somebody whose parents are pieces of rock. It's very impressive. Either way, they're doing an exchange program. They're like, these people from the middle of fucking nowhere are going to come and live in the suburbs. Ooh.
Yeah, it was...
And we're going to go live in, like, the boonies.
It's like wife swap, but the entire family swap type of situation. It was very strange. But again, we saw that their plates are Utah. So this is a very, like, Mormon-esque story. Even the names were very Mormon.
Utah. Either way. Oh, right. The daughter is, like, dating / not dating / I think she thinks she's dating, but he's definitely fucking his 3 other friends.
I think she's dating.
Elliot.
Yeah.
I believe she believes she is dating him. I'm just saying he's fucking the other 3.
Okay, I mean, you can do that. I mean, it's kind of shitty, but you can do that.
Especially because we get in that RV later, and I'm like...
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. They were all having a
when
good
one
time.
of them leaves the RV and starts to do their stretch, all I heard in my head was just like, don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Really? Because them completely like topless in the bed sleeping together in a twin bed, that wasn't what tipped you off?
In a very telling position,
yes.
by the way. Also, one of them was really short compared to the others. Yeah. Arnold. I think his name was Arnold. He was very short. Shocking that Arnold is probably the character in that friend group that gets the most screen time.
Mm-hmm. So they do...
And the most lines.
They do this exchange program, and then they get to the house, and there's like a feast available for them. And
The best part before this was Holly's like, come with me, Elliot. But you gotta leave your boys behind.
It's either me...
He's like, but I love my boys.
Yeah. It's either me
It's
or
either
the
me
boys.
or your boys. And I'm like, choose the boys. Choose the boys. Choose the boys. Dad hates you. Mom is startled.
All the time.
It's funny because she wasn't startled all the time. When she was home in her house, she was fine. And then when she realized what she had got herself into, when she found out, startled. That house, startling.
And all the food that the goblins make that, you know, they try to feed the humans have green icing food coloring in them to signal vegetables, maybe? I don't know.
No, see? Because what happens...
God.
I love how I'm going to make common sense of this.
Okay.
Because somehow, in some way...
Sorry, there's another ambulance. Holy shit. Oh, it's very loud. Holy shit. I don't know what's happening outside.
This is the best, worst episode ever for the best, worst movie
There
ever.
we go.
Let's go. But I like how this movie... So, it doesn't make sense, by the way. I'm just going to say this. But somehow, to my fucking cracked ass out brain, I was like, oh, this movie makes perfect sense. The icing does this thing, and this does this, and this does that. And you're just like, what what the fuck's going on here? Okay, so that icing is like a concoction. Shocking.
Of
It's a concoction of basically, it looks like it's ground up people.
Yeah, that's a good point. It probably is. Well, if they're ground up people, it's ground up plant people because they have to make them
Exactly, because they turn them into vegetarians. It's vegetarian poison. And then when you get turned into a vegetarian, you turn into basically Jello, because Jello is like the epiphany of vegetarianism.
Yeah, it's like a Jello slime.
Exactly.
It's disgusting.
Also known as splart.
Okay. Sure.
So then, that means the goblins can eat them because they're vegetarian goblins. So then they go to the splart and they eat the splart. But also, when vegetarian mommy wants to have some fun at the town, she goes into Stonehenge for a few minutes. It becomes beautiful, and then uses sexy corn on the cob.
Unfortunately, he's not wrong. Let's go chronologically so we can kind of make sense for people who haven't seen this movie.
Do you think that we can do this movie from beginning to end or end from beginning? It will make just as much sense to the people. Either way, we have Holly. Holly's the sister. She gets put in some very uncomfortable shots for a person who's probably 16 to 17. It makes me uncomfortable. She has Tom Cruise on her wall. That makes me more uncomfortable.
Johnny Depp.
But it's like 80s Johnny Depp, so I get it. I get it.
I can't.
Like I never thought he was attractive, but like I know he was like a sex icon.
Yeah, I know.
In the 80s.
So was Tom Cruise, unfortunately.
That's true. That is true. And everyone said I'm from a different time. I don't think you want to be.
No.
But also, I don't find that weird because it's like in the 80s, Freddy Krueger was a cultural icon.
Good point.
And people forget what made him Freddy Krueger.
Right. Let's just forget about that.
Let's forget about that part. Merchandise. Either way, they're going to the 26 people population town of Nilbog, which I bet no one saw that twist coming, but we watch our movies with subtitles,
yeah.
So we definitely knew what the fuck
minute
Nilbog
they
was.
said Nilbog.
I was like, okay, it's Goblin backwards. This would be great if the movie was called Goblin.
Yeah. Well, it was supposed to be called Goblins, and then
It was.
yeah, and
the
then
working
the
title was
producers
Goblin.
or whatever were like, we're just gonna call it Trolls 2.
And there's not a troll to be seen. Everything's a goblin.
Everything's a goblin.
Everything's a goblin in this movie. Vegetarian goblins. Oh, and by the way, Grandpa Seth is a fucking creeper.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Let's just set that out of the way now,
that's it.
because we're not gonna have a lot of time to say that. Either way, they make it to the house. Let's just skip to the foreign exchange program.
Sure.
The house is highly carpeted.
It's like thick carpet too, like this
So-
thick shag carpet.
I could smell it.
Yeah.
I could smell the house. I was like, ugh. And they're like, we made a feast for you inside. And the feast consists of uncooked corn on the cob, which Holly was about to go in on.
Yeah.
That's questionable. Uncooked English muffins. Again, sus. A green and a red Kool-Aid.
Yes.
Wow.
Options.
I'm gonna expect there was a cake of some kind, because every single thing in this movie, if there was food, there was a cake. Even though vegetarian mommy later on says, I made pudding with icing, and I'm like, bitch, that's a cheesecake.
A very dry cheesecake, if that's
So
possible.
dry. It's like she's like giving this like long-winded explanation. She's like, and I'm just like, you could just say, I'm gonna give him diarrhea and just head out, because that's all you said was, I'm gonna give them diarrhea. I'm gonna cleanse their insides. I know what you mean. Okay, we all know. Also, the way that cake was decorated, it was just like person's first cake. It's like, ooh, look, I could do squiggly lines. I'm such an artist. I hope the food didn't go to waste.
I hope not either. It probably did though.
Fuck. I mean, yeah. How hot is it? Probably in buttfuck nowhere, Utah.
I mean, everyone
And
was
you're-
sweating too.
Jesus Christ. The kid in Michael.
Yeah,
Is it Michael? Joshua.
Joshua.
That motherfucker sweat like a motherfucker. That kid was so doused in his own sweat.
At first, I thought they were spraying him, and then I was like, I don't think so. I think this kid is actually sweating.
By the way, remember how I said like buttfuck nowhere, Utah? It's really hard. You could have made your food edible if you, now hear me out, didn't choose all your food to be dairy based.
Yeah. Well, they had the chunky dairy. It was probably real milk that went bad on set. They were like, we got to use this somehow. Put it in the movie.
We can't waste the budget. Either way, Elliot says, I'm going to leave the boys behind. I'm going to come with you on your foreign exchange program. And you know what he does?
Liar.
He leaves Holly behind. And he does a road trip with the boys.
To the same place.
It's a surprise.
Right. Sure.
Surprise, I brought the boys.
Surprise, I did exactly what you told me not to do. Doesn't that make you happy?
And also, somehow these, at most, 18-year-olds
Yeah. At most.
rented an RV,
Sure.
which I don't know. I know it's like 23 to rent a car. I highly suspect it's higher to rent an RV.
I mean, this is 1990, so it might be different. Maybe. But still.
I always felt like there was always a age limit on.
And
It's either that or they had to pay one hell of an insurance.
yeah, or it was like someone's uncle's RV type of situation. And they borrowed it.
I like how we're getting to the logistics of a fucking RV. Either way, these four guys in short shorts are all sharing an RV.
Oh, yeah.
All huddled up together
In a
watching
singular
TV.
twin bed.
And they're like, ooh, where are all the single ladies at? And I'm like, okay.
No. No.
Calm down.
Single,
Calm down.
liberated women.
Ladies, women. Jesus Christ. Either way, calm down. Calm down. Okay? You don't need to put the act on. We can all see
We-
what's going
we
on
know.
here. They get to the house. They go to the feast. They're like, oh, look, they made us food. Whee! And creepy Grandpa Seth is like knocking on the window. And he's like, it's goblin juice icing thing, I guess. You have 30 seconds to stop it. In which this takes way longer than 30 seconds, by the way. This entire scene, way longer than 30 seconds.
Oh God,
when
yeah.
He pauses time.
Because he circles the table to look at everybody in a very menacing way, and that takes about a minute, like legit a minute.
And then his way to fight the goblins. He knows goblins are real at this point.
Who?
Joshua. He knows the goblins are real.
Oh yeah. He believed his dead grandpa, the minute he told him.
Yeah. So he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to piss on the food.
So, okay. This might have been the wildest decision I ever would have thought of. If my grandpa was like, you got 30 seconds to get rid of all of this food so no one dies, what are you going to do? I'm going to throw it all on the floor and smash it. I'm not going to pee on it.
But see, as you can see, guys have a lot easier time being on set.
But still, would that be your choice, sir?
No, not at all.
Proving my point.
Because I think the best thing this insinuates is that time the pause stopped mid-piss. So, time resumed, and they all just see him midstream, just like being on all the food.
Wouldn't you question yourself as a parent? Like, what has my son done and why?
The mom's like, don't beat him. And the sister's like, beat his ass.
That's a true sibling rivalry right there.
And the dad's like, do you see this construction paper? Hospitality. You don't know that shit. I was once a starving little boy. So I know how to starve. I can starve better than you.
This is literally the script, people.
So you're going to sit in this room and think about what you did.
Oh, no. And then he's going to tighten his belt loop to ward off the hunger pains. That's what the dad says.
After Joshua says, what are you going to do to me, Daddy?
Yeah. We're 30 minutes into this movie, guys.
And we're not even done with the disgusting, not the disgusting, but just the obvious innuendos yet. We go to the cabin. Sorry, not the cabin. We go to the RV. The boys are watching some TV. And one of them's like, I need to go outside. This is stupid. And he goes out and he sees a woman running. Just one woman.
Like, frantically.
Her clothes fucked up.
And
her body sweating green.
And you know what he thinks is the best idea? To chase after this frightened woman. And tackle her to the ground.
Tackle her and then basically say the equivalent of, do you want to see my dick?
Yeah, 100%.
That's just it. And then the goblins are just there.
They show up.
And they're like, what are we going to do? He said he'll get us in trouble. Oh, no.
The entire time, they kind of remind me of, like, ugly Ewoks with their sticks.
You're right.
I know.
By the way. You're definitely right. And this is where we get the first... Oh, no, this isn't where we get the first sight of Adorable Goblin. He's actually... Earlier in the movie, Joshua has a nightmare. And he's... They pan the camera out, and the thing that gets revealed as the jump scare is this one fucking goblin. And I'm like, it works. For that first time, it worked. Also, in that scene, the prosthetics of turning him into a plant were great.
Oh, yeah. I thought it looked really good.
That was really nice. See, we praised the movie.
Yeah.
We praised it. And we're about to praise it more once vegetarian mommy comes in here.
Oh, yes.
Because we crapped on her initially, and by the end of the movie, we were like, I'm so happy whenever she's on screen because shit just gets better. She knows what her role was, and her role was to not be in this movie.
She was in a completely different movie.
She was cut from the D&D movie, and these kinds like used the shit. Either way, they run away. They're like, let's go in this house. By the way, they specifically say house.
Yes.
That shit ain't a house. That also, the outside is missing one torch.
It is. It's just one
the torch on the left hand. It's one torch and it's lit.
In
and
the
I'm like,
daytime.
It's lit midday. Oh, by the way, time is an illusion in this movie.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was just me, but no, it was.
It's daytime and then it's nighttime and then it's daytime and then it's nighttime. Does not make sense because literally you'll be in the car, see the car driving. It's definitely daytime, at least 3 to 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Cut to inside the car and it's like, well, it's closed because it's nighttime. And I'm like, since when? How long were we sitting out here?
Yeah,
Is
really.
my question. Either way, we go inside. We're in a different movie in this quote unquote house. Different movie. Totally different movie. And we meet
She has a name.
Credence.
3 names.
Her name is Credence.
Oh, okay. She had 3 names.
Credence. I can't pronounce her other 2
That's
names.
fine.
That's
Okay, so there's Credence.
Yeah, she's Queen of the Goblins. Which basically means like she's vegetarianism incarnate. She was birthed from Stonehenge.
You can't get more vegetarian than that, apparently.
You know what's more vegetarian than being born from a rock? Nothing. She was born of the earth. So since she was born of the earth, she eats the earth. So she's kind of a cannibal if you think about it.
That's true.
By the way, I'm totally in the mind of this writer right now.
I see
This
that.
wife.
I see that. You guys, if we live streamed this, he looks like he has like a crazy glint in his eye as he's discussing this movie.
Listen, it's because I have 2 ring lights and they're just like blasting both of my glasses. So the glint is artificial. Just like their vegetarianism.
Oh.
Either way, she's like, drink this scalding, piping, boiling hot tea. And the girl starts freaking out. And the guy's like, what? Arnold's like, why is she freaking out? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe because that shit was bubbling.
Yeah.
And her insides are probably being melted
And
currently.
then look at that. She's sweating green and vomiting green goo. And I feel like
This goes on for like a minute too long.
Yes, I was just about to say the longevity of this woman's suffering was a little much, and her like literally jumping over obstacles on set and going up the stairs to die in a very slow way was too much. It was just too much.
Eventually she dies. And when I say dies, she turns into goop.
Into the floor and is eaten by goblins.
Oh my god.
What?
Conspiracy theory
Oh,
time.
Lord.
Credence didn't die.
Okay.
She got reincarnated as Gwyneth Paltrow.
That's not a conspiracy. That's a fact.
And currently, since she knows she can't just do her witch magic Stonehenge shit publicly, she made goop.
Just goop.
Goop is made by Stonehenge.
You figured it out. We're going to put this out in the air, and then something's going to happen to RJ, and we'll never see him again because he was right.
I will have been absorbed into Stonehenge. And then they will make a new candle called This Candle Smells Like a Dead Person.
By Gwyneth Paltrow.
By Gwyneth Paltrow. All right, everybody. I'll be right back. I have a delivery.
Okay.
All right. My delivery is done. Back to the goop.
And I also have laundry in the background. So this is going to be a great sound edit for this episode. It's going to be so good. So great.
It's a perfect fit. I don't know what the hell you're talking
Yeah,
about.
good point. All right, back to Goop.
Listen, if this was for Pearl, we'd be fucked. People would be like, or no, we wouldn't, because we would be like, this is an avant-garde presentation to our podcast. The sounds you hear around us is a portrayal and a simulation of the chaos inside our minds.
It's a day in the life.
And then reality, it's like, no, bitch, you're just a fucking mess. Right. So Gwyneth Paltrow is like, I turn people into goops and then I turn them into candles. Mm-hmm. But you, my little Arnold, are so special because of your beautifully chiseled jaw. I'm going to turn you into a plant.
Yep.
Oh, and oh my God.
Oh, yes. That was a GIF, apparently, that I was unaware of.
You are such a fucking boomer.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I am a boomer. Sure.
Boomer. You listen to Carly Rae Jepsen?
I
Boomer.
do.
By the way, I just want to say fuck you.
Why?
Because we're going to see Maggie Rogers in a couple months here. And you were like, Joshua looks like Maggie Rogers. And then you sent me a fucking image. Fuck you.
Okay, so Arnold starts to turn into a tree. And I actually really like the prosthetics and props that they have going on for him. I think it looks really good.
You know what's crazy? I feel like this is the end of the first movie. So I'm like, where the fuck does the next part begin?
Good point.
Where do we kick off from that? Because like she turns him into a tree. Oh,
the other friend goes jogging.
not yet.
Oh.
We go back to what is probably my favorite scene of this fucking movie, by the way. I love this scene so much. Unironically, Holly is in a mirror dancing like she's cooked, ate, and cleaned the motherfucking kitchen.
Yes. She's like in the small hallway in her room.
And this girl, in reality, has tripped, fell, hit her head, and is currently in a coma. She's like, eyes.
Pose.
Turn it off. Elliot, it's either me or your boys. And I'm going to choose the boys, dude.
I want to know.
Choose the fucking boys.
I want to know how embarrassing this felt to act this out. Truly.
I love this scene so much. I love it so much. Because I love how it's like, dance, pose, Vogue. I just fucked all this up. He's definitely going to fuck me exclusively now.
Totally.
It's like, however, I will acknowledge that I want that Garfield shirt she had, but as a Cancer.
Yeah. It said Aries, like Garfield is an Aries, and I was like, oh, okay, interesting.
I would say this. Do I 100% believe that was bought in a Kmart? Yes, because that was the type of shit Kmart would sell. But if I saw that, would I buy that as a sleep shirt? 100%.
And it is the late 80s when they're filming this, so I mean, Garfield was everywhere.
Oh yeah, I think even now, if Garfield's still on merch now.
Yeah, good point.
It's not. He's not a dated piece of merchandise like What was that thing when we were kids?
Looney Tunes.
There was like that store.
Oh, store.
It was like Big Dog.
I have no idea.
It's the one with like everything. They would have like shirts of cartoons, but everyone in the cartoon was a dog.
Nope.
So it'd be like South Park, but all the characters were dogs instead.
I think
Okay.
I forgot.
I guess it was a guy thing. I think it was probably a guy thing.
Okay.
It possibly was, because I've only ever saw guys wear that shit. Also, when everything is a fucking like Mastiff, like yeah, it's probably gonna be directed straightly towards guys. Either way, they're out of business. But basically, she dances the night away, and then Grandpa Seth is like, "Hello, you look like shit doing that." And then she screams and runs into the...
Let me give you some pointers.
And then she's like, I saw Grandpa Seth. And then Josh was like, see, it wasn't fucking me.
I ain't crazy.
And then the next morning they go to town to buy food. And this is where Elliot and his boyfriend are sleeping. And then the third guy is just feeling left out. So he decides, you know what? I'm hungry.
I'm going to go for a jog. With his little
And then-
Dora the Explorer backpack.
And he does a stretch. And I'm like,
Clocked.
the dar has been pinged. Either way, he goes to town. And he soon learns this place is just a sausage fest.
That's it. Yeah, that's true. There were like no women until they went and until Joshua saw that sermon.
You're right. You are right. But there's
Again,
only one.
There is an ambulance coming down the street.
Gwyneth Paltrow!
Anyways. Can we skip a lot of this? Because I'm kind of over it now.
I'm not.
No.
I'm here. I am attentive. I am making sense of this movie. Whether it kills me or not. I think it's going to be the former. In the grand scheme of things. This requires a lot of brain cells. I will let you know now. But yeah, we can skip this part because this is actually where a whole lot of nothing starts to happen. The main thing that happens here is this Joshua's like, Nilbog spelled backwards is goblin.
The biggest revelation.
I feel like they were going for a red rum moment.
Yeah.
But the thing was, I don't know. Maybe if we ever watch The Shining for the first time, like we can erase it from our memories, and we were to watch it with captions, maybe we wouldn't piece together that red rum is murder spelled backwards.
It's possible.
It's possible. But Nilbog is such a fucking weird word.
Yeah.
Red rum are two words. They are two actual real words. Speaking of wording, I lost my ability to. Nilbog is not a word. Nilbog is something you would write in like D&D
Yes.
as like a throwaway city.
Like you mixed up a bunch of letters in Scrabble, and then that's what you would get.
Nilbog. And he's like, oh, it's goblin. And then Dad is reading a vegetables cookbook. Those filthy fucking vegetarians and their fucking cookbooks. By the way, I just want to skip to the end real quick. I love that eating in this movie, like the thing that destroys them all. And by the way, I am on the side of Gwyneth Paltrow now, because the way she gets defeated is this kid eats a bologna sandwich with like 6 pieces of bologna stacked on top of each other.
And it's just bologna and bread, so it's extremely dry. You can see this poor kid like chomping down, trying not to choke.
You have 1 piece of bologna, without water, you're fucked.
Yeah.
It's so much salt.
Mm-hmm.
Even she said the caloric intake is insane. I'm like, girl, the sodium, he's gonna blow up like a fucking balloon. And he's only like 12. That sandwich scared me. I was like, that kid is gonna have a heart attack if he eats all that. If I was mom and dad, I'd be like, that's great, sweetie. Never do that again. But yeah, we get the sermon. The sermon's like,
Meat is
vegetarians.
Disgusting. Yeah, that's basically it. Meat's gross. Veggies awesome. Kid gets like face palmed through the ceiling because he gets
that
caught.
was great.
Yeah, that was.
That
good.
was great.
And then his dad comes to rescue him.
And he's like, we have an appointment. We should go home now. And then they get back. While they're driving to the house, Holly goes to Elliot and she's like, Elliot, it's me or the boys.
Yeah, she just went over there saying her little speech.
Even though Elliot only has like a boy now, he doesn't have the boys.
Yeah.
He has a boy.
She also punches
And
him.
all of a sudden, she does punch him. Shit escalates. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then they're like, get in the car. And he's like, okay. And then the other guy's like, what am I going to do? And he's like, I don't fucking know. Fuck a lady with the corn on the cob in like 2 hours. You know what? We still have one last thing we're looking forward to, and it's that corn on the cob scene. And talking about all of it.
Great.
They get to the house, and there's like a party going on. And you know it's a... First of all, the mom. Just like, can you see this? They are throwing us a party. It's amazing.
I just want to let everyone...
Aren't you shocked like me?
I just want to let you know, everyone who has not watched this movie, that was word for word, in tone, to the actor. It was exact.
That's not even her best scene. Her best scene is when she's looking out the window. And she's like presses her face up in her hands. Just like, what's going on out there, guys?
God.
I can also act. Oh, I love the mom so much. Like, I'm going to make fun of her. Her eyes are creepy as shit.
Yeah, they are.
They look fake. I know they're real. She has like husky eyes.
Yeah, she does. They're like an
Just
icy
straight up
blue.
husky eyes. Yeah. They're the blue that where like they stop being sexy.
Yeah.
They start getting
Being
creepy.
on that creepy scale, yeah.
They break the uncanny valley somehow. But yeah, she's like, they made us food. Look. Isn't this great?
And it's all just like cakes and pastries. There's no like actual substance.
No one in this town knows how to cook. I think the writer thought that vegetarians don't eat corn cooked. They eat like raw corn.
Yeah, like all vegetables have to be raw.
Oh my god. There was so much corn on the cob and none of it was cooked.
No, it was all raw.
And in around 10 to 20 minutes, one of them's about to be a sex toy. In the most uncomfortable way possible, might I add. We cut to, what's his name? Jogger Boy finally makes it to the...
Town.
Makes it to town. And... Well, he doesn't make it to town. He was already in town. They're like, your friend's looking at for you at the nearby house.
Yeah,
and I'm
good
like,
point.
it's not a fucking house. He gets inside. He sees his friend. Arnold's like, get me the fuck out of here. I'm like, dude, you're dead.
He's in a plot, like as a plant. It's really funny, and he tries to pull him away. It doesn't work, and so she knocks him out. Does she knock the friend out?
She backhands the shit out of him across the room and into the bed.
Right. Yes. That's what happens.
I love when she reveals herself because she doesn't belong here.
No, she's on another level of acting. Like, she knows she's in a really shitty movie, so she is cranking that dial to like 20.
And you know what?
It worked.
She's the best character in this
She
movie.
100% is.
I went from ironically loving her to unironically loving her and rooting for her in a way.
Yes.
I was like, you're not wrong.
Also, her multiple makeup and costume changes were really cool. Because they aged her, like, all the time.
And then we go back to the party.
Yeah.
And Joshua's like, they're all goblins and they're gonna eat us. And then Dad is like, get the fuck to your room now. And then in the most sus moment, if I was them, I would be very paranoid about what's about to happen. They sit the 4 of them in the middle of the room.
Yes.
No table, nothing. They just sat in the middle of the room.
Next to each other.
And all of them, like everyone in the city, sits around them.
Behind them.
Behind them. And the creepiest thing happens.
There's
You
another
ready?
ambulance. Sorry.
They all clap offbeat to the music.
Yes.
And it's audible.
Oh yeah. They're not
It's
like
audible.
they're not, muting the sound of the recording and then like playing over it. No, they're letting them clap offbeat.
And then Joshua's like, Grandpa, are you there? And then Gwyneth Paltrow arrives and she's like, rah! And then her in goblin form jumps out of the mirror. And they start fighting. And you know it's morphin time because of the music.
Yeah.
By the way, I love this movie's music. It does not fit with the movie.
Oh,
I don't
no.
give a shit though.
Not at all. Like I
Love
think
it.
is this supposed to be a horror film? Right?
Probably.
Okay, then
Yeah.
this definitely does not fit at all.
It fits like an 80s horror movie, but like
Barely.
I was gonna say maybe Killer Clowns, but I don't know if Killer Clowns is like the peak of horror.
No, I wouldn't say so.
Even though Killer Clowns had a good score. I will always say it had
Yeah.
a great score. Fuck it. Let's just okay. I'm just gonna boom 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 right
Please
now
do.
because I wanna get to this next I wanna get to the next big
Please
discussion.
do. Please do.
Grandpa Seth arrives, he cuts Gwyneth Paltrow's hand off.
Oh yeah.
And then Gwyneth Paltrow. They didn't have enough time to film her going back into the mirror, so they just reversed the entire scene that just happened. And now she's in. She's like, ah! Then she puts her hand inside her parents, and they heal her. and then Grandpa Seth is like, I have a fire extinguisher for the fire we're about to set. And he's like, what fire? And he gives him a Molotov cocktail.
He gives a 10-year-old a Molotov cocktail. This happens, guys. This truly happens in the movie.
And they sneak out and they go outside. And then the pastor, the vegetarian pastor's like, I'm sending you back to hell, Seth, because you eat meat. And Seth is like, I promise you, I'm not in hell. I promise.
This was such a weird moment.
I swear. Either way, he gets set on fire.
The goblin guy.
Goblin gets set on fire. Jack looks like he's about to jump off a cliff.
I know. It's my cat, guys. This movie is fucking wild. Can we get to your part and then end this, please? Because I'm over it.
Well, Solo Boy is back in the RV now, watching TV. The TV goes out, and his TV comes back on. There's some sexy music. And when I say sexy music, I mean like if you think clown music is sexy.
It was like clown music, and then like what someone would think a porno from the 80s music would sound like. Like they've never actually watched one, you know?
And then she is basically doing erotic dancing. By the way, it's Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh, yes.
Stonehenge healed her and then made her younger.
Yeah, a lot younger.
But she's alluring this boy by dancing with a piece of corn.
So she's dancing with the music on. They're in the RV, right? And then she starts like tracing his face and chest. And then she pulls out the corn and then starts
Well,
doing...
first of all, she stows the corn like a pistol.
She does, in a pocket, in her dress.
In a pocket.
And then
she goes in. He's like, I like popcorn. And she's like, ooh, let's do that.
And then the music cuts out. The music stops. And she's just awkwardly dancing, touching this boy.
And then it starts back up.
And then it starts back up when she pushes him on the bed and then puts the cob of the corn in her mouth to his mouth. And they both eat said corn. And it's raw,
and
by
then
the way.
And then someone's off camera just throwing popcorn on them.
The popcorn starts to come out of nowhere. And it's loads of popcorn. It's not like a handful. It's like they had buckets and buckets of popcorn.
You know that moment every night when you're in the bedroom and things start getting going, and then all of a sudden you just get blasted with like 5 pounds of popcorn.
Is this a sex scene that like the 10-year-old would be like, yeah, this is what, a sex scene would be. Popcorn. Because everyone loves popcorn, right?
The best part was I think this was multiple takes because
You think so?
the first two loads get pelted at them. They get pelted with popcorn.
Like these guys, these extras are right off camera and they are like chucking it. They are chucking the popcorn at their face.
Eventually, we get back to that RV, and that RV, to get out of that popcorn, you have to swim. Let's just say.
And then his face is completely covered in popcorn. It's in his ears. It's all down his throat. It's dry. It's on his eyes. It's a horrible
Here's the
situation.
question. Does he die, or does he just get massively inconvenienced?
I think
now?
massively inconvenienced because he's like, no more popcorn.
Because as as they're having popcorn time, the goblins are attacking the family.
Oh, right. That's happening.
They're fighting.
This is the most boring part, too.
Well, initially it was boring, but that beginning where they hide inside the house and the mom has a window all to herself, everyone else is like huddled up at another window, and she's like sprawled against the window. Love it.
Oh, God.
Either way, I love how they're like, if you don't eat these sandwiches, we're gonna have to come in there and then we're gonna have to soak you in vinegar for 2 days, and that's just gonna be an inconvenience for us. So can you just eat the sandwiches, please?
And then they're like, we need help from Grandpa Seth. So since he's dead, we need to do a seance to talk to him. And then they light a bunch of very skinny dinner candles directly on the table. There's no candle holders.
Mama's seeing the light. Mama saw the light. Her eyes have never been wider. Oh, and by the way, Elliot, the boyfriend, is like a character now.
Oh, yeah. I completely forgot about that. Damn.
He just...
He joins the group.
He's there.
Yeah.
I have a question. How the fuck does Joshua get to Stonehenge?
Grandpa teleports him. Because remember, Stonehenge is kind of like a portal. So he just uses it somehow.
But yeah, that's what happens next.
Yeah.
Seth is just like, hey, here's a bag. You'll know the time to use what's in it. Yada, yada, yada. Fight, fight, fight. He eats a double-decker bologna sandwich. That shit was not double-decker. That shit was at least like quad-decker.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess since he's, had so much sodium and caloric intake, Gwyneth Paltrow is disgusted, and she's like, I can't. I don't want to eat that now.
And then she starts to turn really old again, right?
Yep. And then she dies, and I kid you not, she dies. And then they cut and they're back home.
Yep, that's what happens. Yep. We were like, wait a minute. What?
And at this point, we're like, it's over. And then they start up another story arc in the house. And I was like, we have like 4 minutes. I don't think we have enough time to cover this.
Legitimately, we had about 5 to 4 minutes left in the film, and they get home. The dad's like, I gotta go to the office. After all of this, the boyfriend's like, I'm gonna go home for a while. And the girlfriend's like, okay, I'll go with you. So it's just the mom and Joshua. And the mom's like, I'm gonna go take a shower. And
Well, first she eats an apple.
oh, right. She eats an apple at the dinner table. And that's what happens.
And then he hears the goblins talking to him. Joshua does. Goes to the bathroom. Just a green shower.
Yeah, with goop and hand prints and all that.
And then goes down the stairs and they're eating mom. And listen, I gave this movie so much fucking credit because before, when they were turning that girl into goop, she had a bra on, and I was like, congratulations, horror movie. You're not flat up showing titties.
Yeah.
We almost made it.
Technically, they didn't. It was jelly molded to look like breasts.
It had a nipple.
Yes, I agree. It did look like tits, but it wasn't actual tits.
It's enough to where I have.
We were very shocked, both of us.
I was like, because we made it to the end.
We had
I was
3
like,
minutes
we
left.
made it.
We had 3 minutes left of this movie.
And then that's how it ends. They just go, "Do you want some?" And then the movie ends. You know, that's how we finish it. It sucked. It was fucking garbage. I love it.
Let's do the roundup. You want to go first? You want me to go first? I always go first.
Sure. I give this movie a goop out of 10.
Okay.
And I nominate Gwyneth Paltrow to be part of our Hall of Fame.
Okay. I will agree to the Hall of Fame. Goop is a good rating. But in regular normal terms, I think I'll give it a 2 out of 10.
Seems pretty goopy.
Right? That's about as goop as possible.
If I went to a movie like, can you describe it as like it's like goop.
It's like, oh.
Oddly, it does make sense in the grand scheme of things. I do understand the goop.
Yeah.
Honestly, I know it's like, oh, it's a 2 out of 10. I mean, say, watch it.
Yeah, I agree.
Do watch it. It's so much fucking fun.
I agree. I think also
It's on Tubi. It's free, so it's like.
Oh yeah.
always
Like
available.
we regularly in this house, we go to Tubi and we watch the worst martial arts films. It's so much fun. This is just on that spectrum, but horror. The writing's terrible, the acting's terrible, the filming is like whatever. The music's kind of fun. The story is really non-existent.
The editing is questionable.
Oh god, the editing's questionable. That's the reason I gave it a 2 out of 10. But if you're high or if you're with your friends, this is a good time.
If you're drunk, sure.
Do it. You'll love it.
Why not? I mean, here's the thing. This isn't like what's a movie we rated bad for the wrong reasons?
Like it was just shitty. Vacancy.
Yes, because Vacancy was shitty and boring.
Yeah.
This movie's shitty, but you have so much fucking fun
Yeah.
with it. It's a good movie.
I'm still
It's
sticking
a
to my
good
2 out of
movie.
10. I will never watch it again.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like, I think everyone should experience this once in their lives.
I agree. I think you should just watch it once. But again,
You can survive your entire life without seeing Vacancy and be fine.
yeah. But again, be under some sort of influence while watching this movie. I think you'll have a great time.
Then that will bring us to our next episode, which will be episode
Something.
50.
Oh, yes. Oh.
Episode.
Tell them, what are we
next
doing?
episode's
What are we
episode
doing?
50. We're torturing ourselves for half of it, and then we're actually gonna watch a good movie for the other half. We're rewatching Friday Part 1.
You know, my partner said that we should watch part 4 to really torture ourselves. I kind of like the idea. But we'll do part 1. It's fine.
I'll do Part 4 under one term.
What?
If at any point in that movie we both agreed that we reached our breaking points, we end the movie early.
How
and then
about
just go
how
straight
about we
into the
save
episode.
how about we save part 4 for like our 75th episode?
Fine.
Okay.
We're going back to episode 1, which means, unfortunately, you don't have to. We do. We have to go back and listen to the first episode.
No. Oh God. Okay. I mean, you guys can too.
That-
You guys can compare once we release. The
Oh,
other one.
I would recommend you not. The audio sucks. It's our first episode, so our personalities are as fake as they can be.
Yeah, we didn't know how to do this type of shit.
Now I don't give a fuck. Now I just come on. I'm like, hey, Paige, let me peer pressure you into going to the Rainforest Cafe.
So thanks for joining us with Troll 2. And I guess join us for our 50th episode special of Friday Part 1 that comes out next.
Can't believe we made it to 50.
I cannot believe it either. Holy Jesus. All right, everybody.
We should have canceled after Bloodlines, after Hellraiser Part 4,
100%.
but here we are.
Thank you for joining us. We are Movie and Haunt on Spotify and YouTube, so please catch us there if you're not. And have a great one, everybody.
5
Take care.
people killed.
Bye.
Another sign of